Hello, this is Alexander Nakos, and I'm going through my Chat 3 program. So here at the beginning, I have my basic import statements, and here I'm creating my socket connection list, where I'm going to hold all the sockets that connect, the client sockets. Here I have my usernames dictionary, just called names, and here I'm asking if we are in server, and then port number is 6001. Otherwise, port number is argument 1. And then we're doing all the basic socket setup stuff here. We're setting the socket options, we're binding the socket to the port, and we're listening. And then here, we are going to append the server socket to the connections. And while this is true, we're going to create this variable prepare connection, which is going to take in the connections, and then we are going to loop through these connections, and if socket item is equal to server socket, then socket file descriptor and address are going to be equal to server socket.accept, and then socket connections.append the file descriptor, and then we additionally will append to names the socket descriptor .get pure name. Otherwise, we're going to go into this try loop here. Data equals sock.receive 4096, that'll be our connection. And if data, if names sock.getPeer is nil, then we're going to decode it and strip. Otherwise, we're going to send the message with all of the information that we have gathered above, such as the message, socket, and the name. Otherwise, we're going to take it that this socket connection is invalid or dead, so we're going to remove it, and then we will just continue, and then we close the socket here. And then here is the send message method mentioned up here, and so what we are passing it, we're passing the server socket, we're passing the sock, and we're passing it the name, and then the data, the message that is decoded. And so for socket and sock connections, if sock does not equal server socket and socket does not equal sock, then we're going to try to send the message. Otherwise, we're going to close the socket and remove that socket from the connection list. Okay, so that is the server. And now on to the chat client. So here I just have my client method. If it is the client, we're going to set it 6001. And then client socket is going to be set to equal to socket.socket, our socket setup here. We're going to try to connect, otherwise we're going to exit. And while this is true, the connections are going to equal standard input and the client socket, so it'll be the name that the user enters. And then have another prepare connections here, which is going to take the socket connections. And so then we're going to loop through the connections. If sock equals client socket, then we are setting the data received to sock.receive 4096. If not, we're exiting, otherwise we're printing the message. And if it's not the client socket, then we are reading standard input and sending that as well. And then we're exiting. So that is the code itself. Here I'm going to run my tests. Here's the first test. That test terminated properly. So I'm going to run the second test. With my Mac, I have to keep allowing these connections to come in. This is some firewall setting I have set up. And there we go, 17 points, execution completed, and grading completed. Thank you so much, and that is my video for Chat 3.